Hello, welcome back. So for today, we are going to move to the computing. EC2, Elastic, ECS, EKS. Now first of all, let's have a look on the AWS AMI image bootstrappings. And also we're going to looking at application load balancer, network load balancer, gateway load balancers, and auto scalings. We're also going to move to the batchings. We're going to look at Elastic Container Registries, Beanstalk. We're also going to look at the Elastic Container Services, which is Docker, and Kubernetes services. The last one, we're going to look at the Fargame mode, Lambda, serverless applications. Now let's jump to the Elastic interface first. Now all the server within the AWS, we're going to have Elastic IP. That IP going to have the endpoint attachment. I'm going to attach to, let's say, public and private. If you're going to have IPv4, then you can have your CIDRs, or you can have IPv6. It really depends on the requirement. So next, we're going to looking at the bootstrapping and AMI baking, which is for all those images. Now, for the images, you're going to have application configuration, update, the baselines. Because of that, you're going to have different, the speed and flexibilities. You're going to have different choice. We can also have the bootstrappings for the images, which are going bootstrapping support auto scalings. So what bootstrapping provides the provision of EC2 instance, and with a script, they can load the data. When the script running, it can contain the runtime. And also, when the starting time, probably going to take 20 to 5 minutes. Moving to the AMI images bakings. It is for the large deployment, normally for the distributed systems. You can have a master ECR instance, which is have a copy of the image. And then we can have a time-consuming task. With a copy of image, we can create multiple AMI from that instance. And so from the deployment, it will be faster and easier. But in most of the cases, we're going to use a combination. We're going to using combination of AMI baking and also bootstrappings. So we're going to create a baseline of image, create AMI, but also we can have a bootstrapping, which is, multiple copies of that. So in that cases, we're going to be faster. Now quickly go through the load balancer, Elastic load balancers. Have 3 different types, or maybe 4. Application load balancer, network load balancer, classical load balancer, and gateway load balancers. Now, application load balancer more focused on the HTTP levels, headers. You set up the rules, health check. They can look at all the different headers. The next. So look at this, layer 7 load balancer listed on the HTTP and HTTPS. It doesn't support other layer 7 protocol. No TCP and UDP. Layer 7 content type, cookie, headers, user location, behave. We support the SSL and TLS terminations. If we're going to have network load balancer, which is going to do the different protocol, you're going to have a network load balancer. But overall, the same thing is you're going to have the rules. You're going to have the application load balancer, you're going to have a host header, HTTP header, HTTP request method, path pattern, query, forwarding, redirect, response, authenticate. For the serverless, if you're going to using the API gateway, then you're probably going to have the application load balancers. Or maybe if you're going to have microservice, you also need to use the application load balancers. Now, let's move on to the autoscale group. The autoscale group, they have self-healings. They have the minimum, maximum. You set up all the rules such as thresholds, in and out. You set up a scaling policy. You can have scheduled scaling, manual scaling, dynamic scaling, such as the policy, the simple, above the threshold CPU, down the threshold, scaling down, yeah, CPU utilization, yeah, cooling down period, load balancers. Then, look at the scaling process. You can have launch, termination, add to load balancer, or the scaling you're going to work with the load balancer regardless ARB or NRB. You can have alarm, yeah, which is going to notify the backend, which is SNS or SQS, whatever. You're going to have a health check. You're going to have the remove and terminate in health instance, yeah. And this is the life cycle of the hook we call the auto scalings. You're going to scaling, you're going to scale out. So scale out first. Pending, wait, proceed, in service. Scale in, which is take out, which is wait, terminate. Let's have a look on the gateway load balancers. The gateway load balancer, which is the best way to scale out the things for the firewall intrusion detection preventions, security inspections, and it's using a protocol called Geneva protocols. The Geneva protocol, which has been mentioned before, and this is how it works. You're going to have gateway load balancers, endpoint, and also you're going to have gateway load balancers. The endpoint is attached to the VPCs in other subnets. The gateway load balancer is attached to security VPCs. This is very typical on the hub and spoke models. Look at the routing table. You can have the routing table, security VPC. Within the security VPC, you're going to have gateway load balancers are going to connect with multiple security virtual appliances. Then the gateway load balancer endpoint put into the different VPC. In that different VPC, you're going to have the traffic. Let's look at the traffic scenarios.